A new book is now pulling back the curtain on what Donald Trump really thinks about Elon Musk. And let's start with Musk's first big rally with Donald Trump. You might remember it was the one where he did his big boy jumps. Oh, and he was so excited. He was jumping and showing his belly and all that. Well, most people respond to that like, what the hell is going on? And weirdly, for once, we were kind of like Donald Trump because he responded, he was bewildered and he said, what the F is wrong with that guy? And why doesn't his shirt fit? And by the way, if Donald Trump can tell that your clothes are ill-fitting, you've gone horribly wrong stylistically because that dude has never met a tailor he let do their job. But anyway, so he wasn't sure what was going on with Elon Musk. Elon Musk also ran afoul of JD Vance, who's technically the VP. He doesn't have any of the power, but he's technically the VP. So Wolff writes, this is Michael Wolff for All or Nothing, How Trump Recaptured America. He writes that before jumping around like an idiot on stage, Musk dissed JD Vance. Musk was, quote, wandering around by himself with only a thin layer of assistance or security and was hungry. So, quote, somebody produced a bag of pretzel sticks. I don't know why. There's nothing about that should make me hate Musk more, but it does. I'm not sure why, but anyway, then he says Musk is asked if he'd like to meet Vance. And he says, quote, I've really no interest in speaking to a vice president. And that is very funny. Just because it hurts JD Vance's feelings, I'm sure, that he no longer has any of the power. He's not even in the interview. Trump is doing interviews with Musk every single day. He doesn't even remember JP Vance's name or JP Mendel or whatever it is. And now Musk is like, yeah, I don't have time for vice president. That is kind of funny. And so for once, Musk actually was as funny as he always wishes he was. But I want to throw out some other revelations from this book as well. So Wolff also talks about how Trump just casually drops like QAnon conspiracy theories and all that stuff. So in his book, Wolff doesn't name Michelle Obama, but he writes that Trump thought the Democratic Party would replace Joe Biden with, quote, Mike Obama when the president decided to pull out of the White House race. Quote, people call her Mike. You know that, don't you? They think she looks pretty manly, those very big shoulders. What's that about? That's what people will call her if she runs, Mike. That's the name she'll have, Mike. So look, the whole thing is obviously just grotesque and childish and all that. But also that's exactly what he would have said 1,000 times if Michelle Obama had gotten into the race instead of Kamala Harris. He would have done that over and over and over again, because that at the end of the day is all that these people have. And so we've got that. Just to be clear, if you could trust, you're probably wondering, can I trust this stuff from Michael Wolff? Well, Michael Wolff has written a bunch of books, bestseller. That doesn't mean he's necessarily trustworthy. Donald Trump put out a tweet attacking Michael Wolff. He calls it a fake job, it's junk and all that. He says he called me, I never called him back, even though he'd given so much information for Fire and Fury beforehand. But then in this tweet, he says, I assume he was able to speak to a small number of people, but not meaningfully. He's admitting. He knows the dude has sources. That's his little caveat. He knows he has sources, JR. So I assume the Musk stuff and all of that is totally true, but what do you think?
I mean, you can also assume it based off the stuff that also came out. Donald Trump talked trash about Musk before, famously, a couple of years ago, when he said he could have been groveling to him. I could have made him, to the effect of, I could have made Musk come groveling to me on his knees and beg, and he would have. That's out there. That wasn't like some secret thing that Michael Wolff figured out and wrote in a book that Donald Trump told him, which, by the way, again, he's not even good at lying. He's not even good at lying. The most consistent liar in probably American presidential history isn't even good at it. It's the most obvious thing ever. Everything that he says is the most obvious lie, clueless, and has no idea what he's doing or saying. He couldn't even get it straight that he was talking about how he had no idea what Elon Musk is doing with the government and all these agencies. They actually admitted that too. Then Caroline Leavitt couldn't figure that out either. It's hard to chase after a guy who's lies so much, but also isn't even good at it. So again, the whole talk about bragging about whatever he wants to say about Michelle Obama, all that's just his normal talk. None of this is surprising. If he said this again openly and publicly, his supporters would still say, that's just him. You guys get triggered by him so much. Well, it was just a joke. So again, anytime you say something that offends these folks, which would probably be something like America, then they get offended by it. Then all you have to do is say, well, what's the matter with you? You offended by jokes? Hey, how come you can't take a little bit of trolling? That's always the deflection off of the stupidity that they continue to push. But this is obviously his quotes. This is obviously beef that they have with each other. It's always a bunch of guys trying to get in a power struggle. JD Vance knows that he's only there because Mike Pence had about 5% of integrity and decided to step aside. It's the only reason JD is there, and JD's happy with that.
100%. Yeah, no, I totally buy it. It's exactly as immature as they are. Someone in the chat, I'm trying to, Octo Squiddies says, made a reference to chunky Trumpy, which obviously, let's not body shame people. Imagine if Harris had just tweeted something about Donald Chunk and just started calling him Donald Chunk. That's super immature. It's body shaming. I don't like it. Imagine if she had done that. Just over and over and over. And that would just be one tiny little sliver of what Donald Trump does 1,000 times a day. Fox News would have melted down. And Trump probably would have as well, which makes me kind of wish in an alternate world that we could have had it. Obviously, I don't like the body shame and everything, but can you imagine? And we're just supposed to be like, yeah, no, it's totally normal. Yeah, no, she has big shoulders or whatever. What are you even talking about? She's in shape. I don't know what you're talking about. But like him mocking Michelle and Barack because she's too manly or whatever. You know what she also has? A loving marriage. Now I know that you can't tell that when you see it because you have no basis in your own life to be able to identify that sort of thing. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.